So,
do I need the app?
I can't see nothing on your screen. It's like that. Now I can see. Now I can see again.
Hello, and assalamu alaikum, everyone, and welcome to the third episode of Night Talks, where we're bringing you the young perspective right in front of your screen. So as you guys can see right now, we might have a slight change for today because y'all might be wondering, who's this girl right here in front of you? Well, allow me to firstly introduce myself. My name is Nur Anafkah Kistina binti Muhammad Faisal, and I'll be your moderator for today's talk show. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So now for today, we are having a special segment called the Big Brain Moment. And y'all might be asking, like, what is Big Brain Moment, right? Well, Big Brain Moment is essentially a debate, and we are inspired by the Asian Parliamentary Debate, where we'll be having 3 rounds for each side. However, each speakers will only be given 4 minutes to present their case. And for now, we only have 4 speakers in total. So there will be 2 speakers that will come out and speak up twice. And like any other good debates out there won't be a debate without speakers. So allow me to firstly introduce our dashing and highly intelligent gentleman From the ITM Permatang Pao, we have on the government side, Mr. Shakil. Mr. Shakil, he stated that he has experience in many and loads of petty debates about is water wet? Wow, such a controversial topic, right? And believe that there is alien life out there and often mistaken for a celebrity. Think that he is funny than what he actually is. Okay, next we also have Mr. Shazwan on the government team. His previous experience is basically the man who rarely debate about real stuff but will fight about game and comic stuff. Well, Mr. Shazwan, this is the perfect occasion for you because I'm sure you'll be hooked into it. And his ambition is to make a sustainable income to play games. And his quote is, "Games don't make you violent, but lag does." Well, such true words never been spoken before. That is definitely true. I highly agree. And of course, we are on the other end. We have the opposition team. We have Mr. Haika. Okay, so for Mr. Haika, his debating experience, he has entered multiple national debate competition, and his ambition is to create a multimedia company centering on improving education. Such a virtuous thought right there. And his quote is, he described himself as a part-time idiot and a full-time procrastinator. Very suspicious, assuming that I see that you do a lot of work out there. And we also have Mr. Amzaya on the opposition side. His previous experience is as school representative debater, and his ambition is to share new technology and inspire other people around him. And random fact, he had 3 major personalities to fuzz your day and often mistaken for a Japanese or a Korean. I'm not sure about that. I guess the viewers can decide. Well, as you can see, we have such talented team of speakers for today, and we shall see how they carry our debate session for today. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, gear up and be ready because we're about to get to the debate zone. Ladies and gentlemen, Wakanda is a fictional country created by Marvel, and it is located in sub-Saharan Africa, home to the superhero Black Panther, also known as King T'Challa, the King of Wakanda. For centuries, Wakanda has hidden its information to the world of their technological advancement, and their country are rich in source of vibranium, a fictional metal that is said to be one of the strongest metal on Earth in the Marvel universe. As time passed by, the Wakandans used the metal, vibranium, to develop technology that was far more highly advanced than any other country in existence. To protect themselves from the chaos that was slowly consuming the rest of the world, they initially decided to create a cloaking field that allowed them to hide in plain sight. Now, after the event of the Marvel's Black Panther movie, Wakanda decided to openly share their current state of the country to the world. And the remain question is that, assuming that Wakanda do decide to open its border to the world, to everybody, should Wakanda adapt to globalism, or should they remain in isolation? Now, with the motion of this house, as Wakanda would reveal itself to the world and adapt to globalism rather than isolation, ladies and gentlemen, to set up for today's debate, allow me to firstly introduce the case set up by the Wakanda's government. Ladies and gentlemen, in acknowledging problem that has occurred around the world, the problem that we face is that Wakanda government do acknowledge people are facing health problem around the world, especially in the medical technological advancement where they feel like they could be more better. And next, the second is they are aware of the risk of alien invasion that's constantly appear throughout the Marvel movie. And due to this problem, the government of Wakanda has agreed to open up its border to the world, making the world to be aware of Wakanda's existence on Earth, and at the same time, sharing the technological advancement that Wakanda has possessed. Wakanda will be prioritizing military aid, special defense mechanism, enforced shield, and Wakanda technological enforcement. So, presenting on government side, please welcome Mr. Shakir.
All right. Thank you to our moderator Anaka, and hello to everyone, to the viewers, and hello to the opposition team. How are you doing, Shaswan? You are on my team, so yeah.
I'm
To
doing
start off
fine,
with
thank
my
you, Shah.
debate, that's good, that's good. I only ask you for this. So, to start off, I am Shakil representing Team Shak from the government side. I sit before all of you today to address the motion that has been presented to you all today. Wakanda, as you know it, exists as a hidden country with technological advancements far superior and also unknown by the world. This brings me to my first point on why Wakanda should open its borders and what Wakanda should prioritize in the international platform. So, as I said earlier, Wakanda is the most technologically advanced country in the world. With that being said, Wakanda can be of great help to other countries of the world by sharing its technology with the world. Therefore, to support my point, let me give you some examples on the technology that Wakanda has. First up, we have nanotechnology. This really caught my eye, and I personally believe it's cool. So, Shuri, which is T'Challa's younger sister, if you don't know, she remotely controlled the car from the comfort of her own lab. How did she do this, you ask? Well, she had a holographic presentation of the car she was driving. With that being said, this is a good example of applying said technology in fields such as aerospace and engineering. Speaking of aerospace, this brings me to my second example. Remember in the movie when Black Panther was using his ship, it was called the Royal Talon Fighter. So this ship was quite a special ship, and I haven't seen this technology used in by any country before. And so basically, this ship it was able to fly at incredible speeds, as well as having a power source powerful enough to sustain it. And one can only imagine the power source must be obtained from vibranium, which is an element found in abundance and only in Wakanda. So take take a good take a good look and also imagine if Elon Musk or NASA had this technology, we would have already been on Mars by now, which is why this is a good example of why Wakanda should share its technology. And not only that, in terms of aerospace and also other technology Wakanda has, but in terms of healthcare advancements, there's this thing called kimoyo beads that the Wakandan people use. It's a bead that on their wrists, there are like 11 beads, and each bead has a specific use. And this is a great example of having Wakandan technology being used in the health sector. And for example, there was this one scene in the movie where Agent Ross, he was shot in the spine, and Shuri used one of the beads to actually heal his wound. And for some of you that don't know, having a spinal injury with that severe would sometimes take months, years, or even no, it will not heal at all because it is so severe. But then when Shuri gave one of her beads and put it into Agent Ross's wound, it quickly healed within hours. And that is something we don't have in the current world. And to have that, it could if it could already cure spinal damage in a matter of hours, imagine what it could do with other sicknesses like cancer or STDs and whatnot. So having that being applied in the medical field would be of great use to the world. And lastly, my point for why Wakanda should share its technologies with the world is to have an advancement in military and defense systems. An amazing advancement to have would be the force field type shields that the border tribes used. Remember that? Yeah, where the border tribe they use them to shield against the attacks from the enemies. So imagine this but being used on a much larger scale. For example, we can be able to do what Tony Stark wasn't able to do, which is create a shield around the world. He failed with that. But then looking back in Wakanda, they had this big dome type force field covering the whole country, and it successfully defended the whole country from an alien invasion, if you remember the events that happened in Avengers Infinity War. And So imagine that, but being used on a global scale. We would be able to protect the whole Earth from not only falling meteors and much more, but also it gives us a reliable and strong defensive shield against otherworldly forces. May they come someday. And then, to summarize my point, having these technological advancements will greatly improve the world, as that is what King T'Challa would have wanted, and that is what he wanted at the end of Black Panther. Together, improving the lives of many is what any good leader should want. And with that, I rest my case.
Well, thank you to Mr. Shakil. The government has definitely opened with quite strong argument right there, yeah, for the defense mechanism and for health purposes. So let's see if the opposition can answer our question for today. And presenting on the opposition side, Mr. Haikal, please take the stage.
Thank you, Araka. Testing 1, 2, 3. Hope you guys can hear me. Right. Hold on. Madam Chair, what side government has proposed to you today is great, no doubt. However, what they have proposed to you today is all butterflies and rainbows. The world that they're living in is very idealistic, not very realistic. What happens when globalism is applied to Wakanda? A few rebuttals from my side. My first response is that they didn't have any other comparisons why Wakanda should really open up their borders. They didn't tell you why it is so significant for them that they have a moral obligation that they should open up their borders. They only say all these benefits, which is great. It's true, but they didn't say if there was any form of corporations or organizations that can do this, and why Wakanda is most significant. That is what they have to answer on their side, Mr. Madam Chair. Secondly, we believe that even though they're going to bring this technology to other countries, we believe that there's a mistrust of usage of technology because they're going to be given by the governments, right? And when you think of a government, not all governments are very accountable with what they do and how they use their technology, right? Like imagine if the United States were to be given the military from Wakanda. Imagine how many wars, and they still have ongoing wars with Afghanistan and other Middle Eastern countries. And you think that it's safe for them to be used, right? So we think there's this lack of accountability that what governments will be using, right? So moving on to my first argumentation that I'll be saying to you today in today's debate is that Wakanda doesn't what really Wakanda should prioritize in the diplomatic in the international stage, which is diplomacy, Madam Chair. Why do we say diplomacy? Because if we see in the movies, Wakanda itself had in the international stage is that they they practice diplomacy, meaning that they have good relationship with other countries, and that's what they should be standing for in the international stage, right? Because few level of analysis. Number one, we believe that it is unnecessary for them to adapt to globalism in the first place because they have already gained enough resources. They already have the advancement. None of the citizens in the world in Wakanda is living in poor conditions. Everybody is living in a very high. Everybody's living very in a very moderate position, right? So we think that they don't really need other resources from other countries because they have the advancement there. And plus, even if they actually had one, what are they going to have? Starbucks, Olympics? Tell me that. Secondly, I believe that if Wakanda opened up its borders, there's going to be a big risk of other countries taking bad political interests towards Wakanda. And what do I mean by this? Big countries such as China, the US, or even Russia, right? They could even take these political interests to for their own political interests to gain these technology and research of them at the end of the day. So we think this is quite dangerous. Like I said in my first response to Shakil, is that the accountability towards governments. We're not entirely sure how these governments will use this technology for the benefits of their country. Right. Now, for my last level of analysis is that we believe there's a better alternative than Wakanda giving up, sharing their technology to the world. Right. We believe that. So what tech government has told you that they want to prioritize health and tech, which is great. But we believe that in the Marvel universe, that Tony Stark, sorry, it's not Tony Stark, Stark Industries is the leading company for technological advancement. So they have already provided a lot of technological advancement to the world and itself, and it is the leading global industry in giving these technological advancement. So you can see that there's really no other reason. So there's no reason why they have a moral obligation because they have start industry for health and tech. But when it comes to defense, we believe that it's better to give this to the Avengers. Why? Because these because when you think about it, even though the Avengers, all the other heroes in the Marvel universe, they will take care of the villains, right? And when you think about it, in the villains will only rise up at a certain place. There's no need for actual defense for Wakanda to give up their defense mechanism because villains don't pop up everywhere. They only pop up at a certain place. For example, like Spider-Man, the Vulture will only pop up at Manhattan because there's Spider-Man, or uh, Iron Man, or only the Whiplash will only enter if there's Iron Man there, right? But even if the very and what about Galactic Forces? Well, we have the Guardians of the Galaxy. So you see, there's really no need for these uh, there's better alternative solution than Wakanda itself. And we think that at the end of the day, why is it important to be diplomatic? Because we don't want to cause more problems. As the saying goes, more advancement equals to higher risk. There, I rest my case.
Well, thank you to Mr. Haika opening with the opposition team. He did state some real important stuff on the moral obligation. There's other alternative to it. And also what kind of defense mechanism should it be shared to the world? That's also a thing that the government has to ask. Now, we have to ask the government, can you or can you not defend your stance that you stated earlier? And we have to rely that on our next speaker, which is Mr. Shazwan. Mr. Shazwan, please present your case.
Okay. There are some truth about what Haika just said, but for Wakanda, just to be open in terms of diplomacy, will be give the world a wrong message to Wakanda. It will make us Wakandan look selfish because we already have the resources, we already have the technology. Why couldn't we share them? So furthermore, by distributing our medical technology and our force field technology, we have the ability to help those who are not fortunate enough to have good healthcare. And with our force field tech, in a case where there is a tragedy such as a huge scale terrorist attack or an alien invasion, just like what happened to New York, could save 10,000 to 10,000 of life. In addition, it is recently known that stock industry, which you said that the most global leading industry, have developed a mind-blowing discovery in the medical field. They have developed a device that could create a human tissue. If a company like stock industry could openly share this technology, why can't we? You need to remember that stock industry is just an industry. But remember when Tony Stark defend when the government won the Tony Stark technology, Tony Stark defend themselves and say no. Why can't we, as a very advanced country, why can't we say no in that term of if they did misuse our technology? So beside that, one of the main question that I ask myself is what is the reaction of other countries about Wakanda globalization if we decide to globalize? Well, the obvious reaction is that they will be in shock. There's no doubt about that. There will be in shock. In their whole history, the world has known Wakanda to be an underdeveloped country. So most likely reaction from them is they definitely will be shocked and need time to adjust themselves that Wakanda is a fully developed country. We believe that other countries might provoke as they had it as we had hidden our tech and resources, which is vibranium from the world. However, we say even if that happens, countries are willing to cooperate to get access to this tech that could improvise their own country. This is specific is especially good for poor and developing countries as support from Wakanda could help them in the healthcare sector and elevate people from poverty. So we have talked about other countries' reaction. Now we will talk about what will the effect of the globalization to the future generation of Wakandan. Since we have started globalism, the children of Wakandan will have the opportunity to start learning other people's culture from other countries, and because of this, and in return, other countries could learn Wakanda culture. Due to this, the future generation of Wakanda will be more open-minded because they have the education provided to them about other countries, which probably the adults and their predecessors do not, because they are an isolated country. At the same time, because they has learned their culture, their history, and their problem, they could learn some humility along the way and respect others despite they are born in one of the most technologically advanced country. This will will born a good character inside future generation of Wakanda. And maybe in the future, these children might be the one to improve our diplomatic relationship with other countries. And that is all from me.
Well, thank you, Mr. Shazwan. As you stated, other countries are willing to cooperate, yeah, and also this is a good opportunity if we go for globalism. It is good for poor country and developing country to help themselves, and it's also an opportunity to start learning about others' culture too. So now, opposition, it's your turn to fire back at the government. Is it a strong standing or is it not? So presenting from the opposition side, Mr. Amza, please take the stage.
Go Amza! Woo!
Yeah. So, drawing from Shazwan's points, so he said that Iron Man, he exposed to the world about his technology and share his technology to the world with the stock industries. So, what I want to say is, drawing from the Iron Man 2 movie, we can see that the Iron Man core was recreated and being used for to make chaos during the starting of the movies. Second, so moving on with my point, where unnecessary threats would threatens Wakanda once they start to open their borders. So what? So when you open your borders, you are sharing the world, your technology, your information, and your resources. So when the world starts to know and acknowledge Wakanda as a world, as a country with a resourceful, country with very rare material, they would likely to take a deep interest for that country, right? And because they want that kind of raw material, they will put surveillance on Black Panther and their royal family. So Black Panther and his royal family would be in a vulnerable situation whenever he's on a mission or whenever there's an attack. So likely there will be a third party to attack when the Black Panther was out on a mission. So starting for the movies of Black Panther 1, we can see that T'Challa, he's always on the move. means he's not always on his country. He's only making missions, leaving his country with only some their soldiers and defense forces. So the probability of Black Panther and his royal family to be assassinated is very high. So other forces will also try their best to penetrate Wakanda's defense. And what I want to say was, it's not the world from the Earth, but from other forces in the galaxies, universal threats. Like we see on Infinity Wars, the force shield that protects Wakanda was it's nearly defense, but in the end, it was broken by the attack force of Thanos. So we can see that alien forces can penetrate that force shield to force Wakanda into fragile situation. So we don't want Wakanda to be manipulated by other species. Like what happened to our history when British put an effort to take our land before, when we're on a glory age of trading, because we had a lot of resources for that time. So it will make the situation a lot more worse and bad for Wakanda. It's hard to defend itself if there are worldly threats and also unworldly threats to attack them. So my second point was, we don't want any information to be leaked, because information was the very vital things even in a war. We don't want to debunk Wakanda defense mechanism on its weakest point. I like to take out a quote I found on Google after a lot of research. Don't expose yourself to anyone. You think people are on your side takers and caretakers, but everyone can be your companion in broken limo driver. So what I want to say was, everybody might seem good and might be caring for you at the beginning, but they will take advantage on you after they had got what they had once in the first place. Likely, I want to draw from Iron Man first movie. The villain of that movie is actually his business partner, who's likely like his brother, like Iron Man's brother, betrayed him, take his technology, and use it to threaten him. You know what it's lead to this to? So technologies are bound to be manipulated if you expose it to others. Like Spider-Man Homecoming. If you are reckless, your technology would fall into the wrong hands. So we don't want that to happen to Wakanda. Wakanda only established very advanced and luxury as it was right now, because they don't share their resources and they had to improvise themselves. Where other countries, they don't seem to have a lot of resources like Wakanda did. So what I want to say is, we can share some information, but we cannot share all of it. We cannot share our resources. So the world would know, and our weakest point, they will likely to attack us anytime. So I would like to rest my case there. Okay, that's all from me.
All right, thank you, Amza. So, by the opposition to go globalism could possibly bring risk to the royal family and could potentially leak the information on Wakanda defense mechanism. So, government, what do you have to say about that? Can you protect yourself? So, to conclude the government statement, please present Shakil to defend their stand.
All
Please
right,
welcome.
thank you to Madam Moderator. So, to summarize the points that we, the government, have given, our points on having Wakandan technology being used worldwide will greatly improve the human race in a lot of ways. Next, having the support of other countries of Wakanda's globalization, despite being in shock of Wakanda's revelation, that was from obviously from Shazwan's point. So, and to take his point about education, Wakandan people, we can also teach the world about our culture so the world would better understand us as a country. Now, moving on to rebut the opposition's point. To take Heikel's original point, Wakanda would not want to be known as a selfish country because we already gave our points on why we want to help the world, and but with the exception to guide them as well in helping other countries to be better technologically. And to to state on Amzar's point, I believe Wakanda is capable enough to withstand threats from outside forces. We have been able to be in hiding for so long without any other country knowing. And of course, we would already be advanced in not being able to be manipulated by outside forces and also be very loyal to our country, Wakanda. And to say that people would be able to manipulate the Wakandan people is just a big insult to the whole country. I'm sorry to say. And since we will be since we will be monitoring the use of our technology, we of course would be able to know if there were any foul play to be happen, if you get what I mean. And therefore we, the government, still stand with our point on having Wakanda going to accept globalization. Back to you, Madam Moderator.
Thank you, Shakil. Well, the government is still standing firm with globalism. It seems to them that it is all nice and it is all just for the benefits, not for themselves, but to other people too. So, the opposition, what do you have to say about this, Haikar? Shall you be presenting the opposition point in the good lighting way, or is it just merely for the purpose of attacking them? So, please welcome Haikal.
First of all, I would like to say thank you for everybody for debating. I honestly, I am really proud that this has been a very good debate. I love that all the points was given from side government and side opposition. I gladly like it. However, despite I am the opposing side, I have to, compare the points and see which teams has won on the issues that is given in today's debate. Right. So in today's debate, there has been two issues that has been arise, which is number one, what should Wakanda prioritize in the international stage, and number two, how will each stakeholders or people who are involved react in the motion. Right. So what side government has proposed to you that uh, is more of a globalistic point of view, meaning they want to be a global approach, trying to help others in need, right? And they've also clarified by Sazwan at the end of the day that um, that Sazwan that Wakanda itself has a moral, in a sense, they have a moral obligation to tell. Uh, to help the world because they are the ones that have the technologies that should be given uh, uh, with the with with should be given as they have the technology advancement, right? But we on opposition, how we respond to that, how do we compare to ourselves, which I said that in the end of my speech, we believe that um, we believe that opening up borders itself is going to take too much risk, right? Even though we're being a bit nationalistic in this approach, but we believe this is for the right of the people in the world and also of Wakanda, right? We believe that if you want to open the borders, you must take higher risk and higher defense in in saving Wakanda. Actually, not saving Wakanda. In in protecting Wakanda and also the world, right? And I think we sit that better in a sense that we want to remain diplomatic relations with other country, and we just want to remain isolation and just have no information leaked whatsoever. Even though if there were to be rumors, rumors are just mixed theories and facts. They can be debunked just like that, right? So we want to minimize the idea of sharing these technologies and all, because we feel that there are better alternative which are better compared to sharing Wakanda state in openly, right? So we feel that we've dealt the issue better. But secondly, what we felt the issue in how each states react, we believe our stakes are pretty higher compared to side government, even though they give out really interesting points that it helps unify other culture, that the Wakandan culture can unify with other cultures, um, and these Wakandans will, be more open to accepting global culture and all that. We believe that is true, but at what stake? So we believe uh, so we believe that there's no stick at hand when it comes to comparing on our side, because we believe that there's more threats coming to the Black Panther, the Wakanda, and the world itself. Right? We believe that at decolonization might happen. Yes. So at the end of the day, we believe that we've dealt with these issues very well, and has, hopefully take this debate. But obviously, there's no judge gonna, that's gonna judge this. Is you, the audience, will judge who was more convincing at the end. Thank you. I rest my case.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, with the end of Heikel's speech just now, that shall mark the end of today's debate and the end of my duty as your moderator for today. Thank you everyone for the experience, and I hope you guys enjoy your episode today. And one question is remaining: is who shall win today's debate? Shall it be Team Haika or Team Shakil? Well, I shall pass the event to Mr. Haika and Mr. Shakil themselves to answer that question.
Shosha,
All right.
what a debate! What a
Oh my
debate!
goodness, you and Amza just gave me and Shazwan a lot to think about, but I don't know if it's plausible or not. But yeah, you guys, you're a very good debate. I am proud
Thank
to
you.
be able to debate against you
Let's
too.
shake hands. Let's shake hands.
Shake
Like,
hands to the
yes,
camera. No, I won't do that.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
wait, Corona. Forgot about that. SOP, guys, follow the SOP.
Also, before moving on, I would like to thank Anaka for being our moderator for today. Thank you very much, Anaka. You're very professional. It was like in a courtroom, you know.
Yep.
It was somehow felt like that in a way.
We also like to thank our guest speakers, Shazwan and Amza. They did a
Yeah,
really good
thank you,
job.
boys.
Okay, so before we end, we're gonna post the Instagram poll, about the debate. So you guys can pick who is convincing or not.
Obviously, they're gonna pick me, but we can still post the poll, Carl. We can still post the poll.
Yeah, we can still post the
So
poll.
all of you viewers, please do go vote for Team Shark, because you know who gave the better points.
Come on, guys. Team
There's
Michael, come on.
no.
Okay, if you want to know what is our Instagram account, it is, I'll just type it in the comment, is at English UITM CPP. And remember to also subscribe to our channel for more info and more content.
Yeah, also leave a like, and also don't forget to fill in the Google form down below. Give us your feedback on how we could improve our show, and also give better content to you guys. Just give us suggestions, you know. Hit us up on anything.
Definitely. Hold on, let me just
Oh, you
check
haven't finished
something.
typing. Okay.
Nope, I haven't. I'm sorry. This is very unprofessional of me. I'm sorry. Oh, someone from Sandakan is there.
Yeah, I don't really think that guy's from Sandakan for some reason, but oh well.
So here's the that's the Instagram channel. So
Yeah, please do follow, guys.
do please to follow and vote for who you think was more convincing at the end of the day. Thank you. That is all
So
from
yeah,
us. Thank you
goodbye,
and
guys.
goodbye.